Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this afternoon for our Delivering Flexible, Configurable ArcGIS-based mobile applications presentations. I'm Matt Valiant. I am with GeoCortex. I'm an account manager for the Northwest U.S. region. So if you are in Washington or Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, Alaska, or Colorado, you likely have dealt with me on GeoCortex things. I've been at the company for more than 6 years. Six-year anniversary was this summer. Various roles I've held there throughout my tenure, and I am coming to you today from where we're headquartered in beautiful Victoria, BC. We're about 90 miles north of Seattle as the crow flies. For folks who don't know where that is, though, we are a Northwest show, so I imagine lots of folks do. Quick intro to the company that I'm with. We're established in 1999, so almost a 20-year-old Canadian company that builds web and mobile GIS frameworks that help organizations extend the ArcGIS platform. There's lots of nuance and details within our products, but that is at the core of it what we do. And we serve more than 1,600 customers around the world in this capacity as an Esri Platinum partner. So we remain highly integrated and aligned with the Esri platform and direction. So we're here today to talk about mobile, and I think that most folks here would agree that the demand for mobile-enabled GIS applications is growing, and it's growing rapidly. So when I say mobile GIS applications, what do I mean? I mean applications that run seamlessly on mobile phones, tablets, and laptops in the field, support offline operations for areas that have no connectivity or poor connectivity, allow data collected offline to be stored and synced once back connected to the network, and they're easy to operate and target at the specific job function of the users. When we think about the use cases of these, most of these folks aren't going to be GIS users, so they want to be straightforward and guided interactions if possible. So what are some common use cases of mobile GIS applications? Performing inspections on infrastructure. This might be hydrants or buildings. Performing offline navigation and gathering that spatial awareness in emergency situations where maybe there's no cell coverage. Maybe it's been wiped out for some reason, or maybe you're just in a remote area. Performing remote damage assessments. So FEMA reimbursement requires specific assessments on properties and damage. So that's something that can be done in an offline state. Or maybe it's mapping new valves and gas endpoints that have been added to the utility network. So as you see, as I mentioned, these aren't going to be folks that are GIS folks necessarily. So you want to be able to tailor the application and build the application for them. So when it comes to mobile GIS applications, there's lots of different deployment options, but I sort of see it in two buckets. There's sort of the apps, the out-of-the-box apps, and then there's the framework. So when I talk about apps, I talk about sort of targeted native applications. These typically have limited configuration options that let you control kind of look and feel of the application. There's not typically the ability to extend or customize your specific process or integrate other systems or anything like that. But it's a great option if your process matches what's out of the box from that tool. So some common apps that you might see that kind of fit under this sort of app category that I talked about. Commonly used ones: Great Tools Collector, Survey 123, or Navigator. Now on the other side, we have frameworks. So how do these differ? So instead of being sort of a targeted application, it's a suite of configuration tools for designing your own native applications. So you get to build your own. Comprehensive configuration options that let you tailor the look and feel, but also the experience. So it makes them extensible. You can integrate with other systems and tailor it to your business process rather than tailoring your process to the technology. So, matching that technology to your process. And GeoCortex Mobile is a great example of this, and that's what I'm going to talk about. Sort of this new framework option that's kind of available. These apps you see on the left have been available for a long time, and typically the other option is sort of custom app development, and that's not cheap. So we've sort of taken this approach of a framework with those characteristics that you see there. I'm going to talk about it in the context of GeoCortex Mobile. So our goal with mobile is to make it the most capable framework for configuring and building custom mobile offline apps on the ArcGIS platform. So we do this through a configuration framework. So you can build these custom apps right in your browser. So we're going to take a look at this, obviously, to see what it looks like. But right in your browser, you can build and optimize a mobile application that goes offline. So you get the level of configuration you need, fully custom branded apps without writing any code, not a line of code. So always in sync is another big piece. This is common. This is consistent with the other apps as well. You configure your defined work areas, or you let users create their own, and then they can make edits in the field and synchronize those changes with the database. So performing those offline edits. With GeoCortex Mobile, the reason that it makes the configuration framework so powerful is that we've coupled it with our workflow technology. Our workflow technology is sort of an automation engine, a widget builder, if you will, that allows you to take complex processes and automate them and make them guided step-by-step interactions. So here you see it's kind of like a model builder, and you can turn these processes into tools within your mobile app. So your field users have a very guided interaction as they move through the process they have to complete. And in terms of deployment, this is done via GeoCortex Go. So we'll look at this today. GeoCortex Go is this companion app. You log in with your ArcGIS identity, and then you have access to your mobile apps that have been shared with you for the organization. So this is used by field workers and administrators. And without further ado, let's jump right into a demo here so we can see how rapidly you can build out these apps with the configuration framework. All right, so for this demo, we're going to start in the mobile designer. So the mobile designer is, again, tied into our ArcGIS credentials. So to log in here, I'm going to either use an ArcGIS Online login or an ArcGIS Enterprise login. So I'll go through here. This will give me single sign-on. It's all tied to my Active Directory. I just log in with my Windows account, and I will be inside the GeoCortex Mobile Designer, where I can create now a mobile application. So a couple things here. You've got a couple of templates. These will always continue to be added to, but you can start with one of those. Here's ones that I've been working on lately. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new Northwest GIS application just to show you guys the process. So I'm going to start by selecting the default here, the mobile default template. And then I'm presented with all the different components of my application. So I'm going to pull these out, and you can see here these are ordered. So I've got the map, and that's kind of how the configuration is laid out. You can see the kind of trees there. I've got different services here, so I can come over here and do different branding. I can set Android, iOS, and Windows settings. I can have launch link workflows, do different highlighting. But I'm going to start in here. So I'm going to go into the components area. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select a web map that has offline capable information that I can use. So because I'm tied into ArcGIS Online, this is just going to pull up my ArcGIS Online content. So if I'm going to go share it with me, I'll do a quick search for offline to make sure I get a good one. And I'm going to grab this one here that's been shared with me by our product manager for mobile. So now you can see that's brought in the different layers here. And I'm going to, what else can I add here? Let's make another little configuration change. So we've got a base map picker here. Let's say I want to remove a couple of these from here. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's look at the app. Let's start at the app and show kind of how rapid this development is. So I'm going to save this as Northwest GIS 2020-2. And that is saving it again as an item in ArcGIS Online. And then when I come over here, so I touched on that GeoCortex Go application. Here's the apps I have access to. You'll notice that the Northwest GIS 2 isn't showing up yet here. So I'm just going to refresh this again, signed in with my ArcGIS Online account. And then I can jump over here to the application. So this is the web map that's been configured here. You can see I've got a few different options. I've got my layer list here. I have a generic search here. I can search anything I need in this map. If I want to add a feature, I've got the option to do that. And then I've got map areas here. So these are the offline map areas, which we'll show in a couple minutes here. We have an I want to menu here. This is configurable, so I can return to GeoCortex and Go, get back to my apps, but I'm going to stay in here for now. So you can see here's my base map picker. So I personally like to work with a streets base map. That's just me. I've got a legend in here. But this map doesn't do much right now. I can measure stuff, which is pretty cool. That's an out-of-the-box tool, but let's add some functionality here that actually makes sense. So I'm going to jump back over to mobile, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add an item to buffer a hydrant. So when I select the hydrant inside my feature actions on that feature, I'm going to add a menu item. So you can see here I've got a bunch of out-of-the-box commands: delete the feature, remove focus, highlight. Or I can select one of my workflows that was built in our workflow technology. These are all shared with me via ArcGIS Online. But this is the really cool thing to do. So I can actually create a workflow based on a template. So I'm going to grab a buffer feature geometry. I'm going to call this buffer hydrant. And this is actually going to create a workflow in Workflow Designer and add it to my application. So it's taken a template for a workflow, added it here, and now I've got a buffer hydrant. So I'm going to save this and show you that. So right now, let me make sure my hydrants are the right ones. Yeah, so if I select the hydrant, you can see I've got the zoom to feature option. That's it, right? But I need to refresh this app because I've made a change. So I'm going to simply refresh the app. And now if I select the hydrant, you can see I've got the option to buffer that. So I can actually now buffer this. I'm going to do a 500-foot buffer, and I can do a buffer on that. It doesn't do much, but it just shows you an example of creating a workflow on the fly, adding a tool on the fly. I'm going to add some other tools here and make some other changes. So I'm going to go back into here and let's go to branding. I want to change up the branding here. So right now it's kind of all black with a light blue there. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change the accent color. I want to make that a bright green. And then in terms of highlighting, I want to make some changes there too. So instead of the highlight color being that, let's make the highlight color a purpley color, and the focus color can be a bright orange color just for fun. I can do some label text and all that kind of stuff here, but let's do that. And let's make one other change here. Let's add something to the I want to menu. So that I want to menu up top, I'm going to add a menu item here to set zoom to the initial view. Let's add that one. Let's also add the measure tool to the I want to. So you can see here, I'm going to save that, push those changes through, and when I jump over here, if I go I want to, there's just those options right now. I refresh that app and you'll see the green highlighting, which I think looks a little better. You're going to see the zoom to initial viewpoint, which is going to do that. You're going to be able to invoke the measure tool there as well. So I've added a couple things there. Let's see, the highlighting should be a little different too. Yeah, I've got that orange highlight. So you can see I've made those changes. So that's just showing you kind of the rapid development of this. But what I'm going to do now is kind of do a bit of a tour around the app. So I'm going to first download an offline area. And while that downloads, we can kind of jump around here. But what that's doing is that's going to let me work offline and make some edits. So when I go offline, I'll add a feature and you'll kind of see what it looks like to sync back up. A couple things to point out here. You can see how fast this performance is on this modern runtime SDK. Very powerful. I've got all my different layer options here. I can toggle those off and on. They're they're big finger friendly if you're on a tablet. But let's see, that's going to be a minute there. So let's see if there's other edits here we can make. Let's go to layers. We're going to do the map. Let's see if we can hide a layer. Yeah, let's remove this buildings layer for now. We're going to hide that. We're going to save that. So we should almost be done downloading that map area here. Yeah, we're close. So we've done enough kind of messing around here to kill time. So I'm going to just show you while that finishes up how you can add an area. So this is actually, if you wanted to add an area on the fly, this is pretty cool. So you can grab, the area that you need. You can select your level of detail. You enter a name, so Northwest Test. We can include attachments, and we can actually create that that Northwest Test. And I've created that. I would have to download it. We're not going to sit here and wait for another download, but well, we got a little error message there, but I think it should be okay. So this is downloaded now. You can see here I can activate this, and let's go to this. Okay, let's go online because I didn't. Let's go to it's the base map that we should. Let's go to streets. This should make it a little easier, and now we can go offline. Okay, so we're gonna do it without a base map. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna add a feature. So I'm gonna add a hydrant. I can record my current location, but I'm gonna do that. I'm going to put in an install data today. I'm just showing this to create a feature. So we got the 8th, okay, time. We can add some details here. And I'm gonna hit save on this. And now you can see I have created a hydrant, and then I've got that buffer hydrant, the workflow I created earlier. I can actually run this offline as well. Doesn't do anything there, but you will notice that now I need to send my changes. So here I can just go back online. It'll give me my map back, and then I can send those changes, and those will sync back up with the database. If you have everything in place, it'll respect however you have the data set up. So yeah, that is a pretty good tour. I know we're kind of nearing the end. You know, a couple things I should note. There is support for different devices. So we support Trimble devices and other high precision GPS devices. So that's something that's good to know. And yeah, I'm going to just jump back to GeoCortex Go. We're going to close this down. And yeah, thank you again for the time. I appreciate you sitting through the virtual attendance of this event. I know it's nothing like the in-person, but I'm glad we could still connect. And I'm going to open it up for questions. Thanks, everyone.